Hey, dude, World Health Organization says don't wear masks out.
Oh my God, don't take my shit away from me.
Hey,
man.
one brother to another. I'm your brother, dude. I'm your neighbor. No, I'm just some fucking conspiracy kook. Maybe we've been lied to. It's quite possible, I wouldn't rule it out. Maybe, just maybe we've been fucking lied to. Is that possible? I mean, at least give me that. Is it possible? Apparently not. Not at all. We've been told the truth. How ludicrous does that sound? We've been told the truth the whole way through. A politician would never lie. A businessman would never lie, especially if someone stands to gain billions of dollars. God, no. Not at all. A doctor would never lie. A scientist would never lie. Isn't that right? That's your religion, not mine. There you go, you got the fucking Kawasaki right there, man. Enduro. It was the blizzard of, I think it was 2010. I had an Enduro just like that, man, but a 2-stroke. And when it was a blizzard, everything shut down, and I was like, maybe we've been lied to. Is it possible that maybe perhaps we've been lied to? I don't know, call me crazy, but I think maybe we've been lied to. Wouldn't it be good news if you found out you don't have to wear a face diaper? Wouldn't you be happy if you could go back to living life like a normal human being? Yes. I'd be happy. I'm not a registered Republican or Democrat or any of that shit. So I'm not affiliated with any. Nothing. Here's a fact. No, here's a fact. Well, I mean, you know, you keep, you know.
There's just gonna be a rally or protest.
Oh yeah, I got that information. Here's a fact. New York penal law. 240.35 prohibits 2 or more people from gathering in a public place with a face mask. It's the law. It's the fucking law. We're being asked to break the law for a virus that has yet to be isolated. Isn't that interesting? I find that interesting. We're being told to break the law because of a mystery virus. I find that quite interesting. Title 18, Code 8630. Proclaiming an emergency when there is no emergency. Do you know what happens if you get convicted? 30 years behind bars. Title 18, U.S. Code 1038. Forbids the fabrication of a hoax. Oh, wouldn't you know? Title 18, U.S. Code 1040, you can remember that one. Fraud in connection with major disasters or emergency benefits. Do you know what the penalty is if you're convicted? Life in prison. Isn't that interesting? I find it interesting. Bill Gates has a patent on COVID virus. You can look it up. It's the Pillbright patent, 10-130-701. Bill Gates, largest funder of Inovia, AstraZeneca, and Moderna. I find that interesting. I find that very interesting. make you believe in absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Voltaire. Shall we consider Voltaire? Not me, Voltaire. How about this one? You assist an evil system most effectively by obeying its orders and decrees. That was Gandhi. You see a sculpture right over there. We're in Union Square Park. Don't take my word for it. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Edmund Burke. That's interesting. That's not me. That's Edmund Burke. How about this one? The greatest tyrannies, the greatest tyrannies are always perpetrated in the name of noblest causes. That would be Thomas Paine. That's not me. Those who take oaths to politically powerful secret societies cannot be depended on for loyalty to a democratic republic. That would be John Quincy Adams. If you tell a big enough lie and tell it frequently enough, you will believe the lie. That was Adolf Hitler. Ah, my favorite. The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. That was Marcus Aurelius. Have you read about the Roman Empire? Have you ever read about that in history? Well, in the Roman Empire, there was 200 years of prosperity. Of course, there were a lot of orgies during that time. There was a lot of shit going on at that time. But the most growth and peace and prosperity happened in the Roman Pax era. It was a 200-year period, and one of the emperors was Marcus Aurelius. I would weigh that into consideration. Unbelievable. Should robots have rights? That's a good question to ask. Should we give rights to robots? That's where we're headed. How about 4G and 5G? It turns out 5G is 100 times more powerful. I find it interesting that it coincides, this pandemic, with 5G rollout. It's not a conspiracy that EMF destroys the structural integrity of our cells, of our DNA. It's not a conspiracy. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the CDC, is a vaccine company. $11 billion total budget per year. $5 billion of that buys vaccines from 4 companies. I find that interesting. The top 5 vaccine manufacturers are convicted felons. That's quite interesting. Find that out. mRNA vaccines are not vaccines. They're a synthetic fragment of nucleic acid intended. Here's one for your anti-vaxxers. You can look this one up. Vaccines via Bill Gates from 2000 to 2017. Indian doctors concluded that it was the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation vaccine that gave thousands of Indian children paralysis. It was concluded over 4,900 people in India developed paralysis as a result of the oral polio vaccine between 2000 and 2017. It's a fucking case. It's not me. I'm not making this shit up. It's not my opinion. Where do you have to...